So I'm as sick of hearing about Google Plus as anyone else. However, I'm on Google Plus in the beta version, and I kind of have to tell you that I think it's pretty good. I think it's a great blend of all the major competitors out there, which is the trend in any industry where one particular company gets good at one thing, and then three or four get good at other things, and the next big monster puts them together. There has been a social media war mounting. There's not going to be any gunfire or anything, but we have seen Google and Facebook kind of go back and forth about who's the bigger and better site. There's absolutely no question that Google is. Google could actually, if you really think about it, right, Google's the most powerful company really on this planet outside of the defense sector. And the one thing that they have the ability to do, if they really wanted to eliminate Facebook from Google searches, they could. Now, Facebook could eliminate Google from Facebook searches, but who cares? So one kind of has to see that and realize where it's going. So a few weeks before the announcement of Google Plus, there was a contract between Twitter and Google that allowed tweets, individual tweets, to show up in search engines, and I'm sure you've seen these. Now, that contract has expired, and Google has elected not to renew that. So new tweets will no longer show up in Google searches, and that really, to me, was a big sign of something coming. 2 weeks later was the announcement of Google Plus. Google Plus, with their ability to have 8-person hangouts via video chat, I think is stellar. It works. It's fairly easy to understand and use. The way that they've grouped everything is fantastic. Facebook's going to be coming out with Skype and their video chat and all these great things, right? Like in the grand scheme of our little piddly worlds, they don't mean a whole lot. For us, these are things that we use primarily for entertainment or business. But in the business world, these two companies battling back and forth is enormous. Because Google, when it got very powerful, they were essentially forced to IPO. Though no one will say that publicly because it's not true. They weren't literally forced. But a lot of pressure gets put on from our government to open up the books and create transparency between Google and the rest of the world, and an IPO really facilitates that type of action. So Facebook is probably getting the same type of pressure from the government. There's a ton of lawsuits that get mounted every day, and a lot of things that have made Facebook huge, including a movie. There hasn't been a Google movie. But in my opinion, keep an eye out. I think there's 4 or 5 of these sites that are going to start battling back and forth. And I think one of your major 4 social sites is going to be acquired by Google or by Facebook. I think it'll really be by Google first, but you'll see one of those big 4 get bought up relatively quickly as an acquisition pre-IPO. I think it's gonna be a big move like that. And during times like this, you can look at the auto wars. You can look at interest rate companies, mortgage companies throughout history. When there are big players put in the game, these types of wars ensue. So the good thing is that for all of us, tiny little guys out here in cyberspace, things are going to get really cool because they're going to be competing with each other to find out who has the best bells and whistles on their site and what users like them the most. So enjoy the ride, and if you're an investor, buckle up. I think it's going to be a pretty fun couple of years here.